Good morning, Terp fans, and welcome to TerpTalk Game Day. Today it's South Florida coming into Byrd Stadium, but I'm not so sure that the news is who we're playing today or what happened last week. Terps go into the beginning of the fourth quarter. It was 20-all, Bruce, and then sort of went backwards from there.
Without question, it was a low point, all right, in the past few years for the Terps in fourth quarter. And Wayne, we have a word for today, all right?
Well, it's a word you've used before when you have to win a game.
When you've watched me, you followed me, you know what today is. Mason, what day is it? Do you know?
That's right. It's
Judgment Day, all right? It's Judgment Day for the University of Maryland. This, Wayne, in a weird way, is a must-win game.
Yes.
Because we're Randy fans. We're friends with Randy. We need to win this game. You go 2-1. You have a whole different outlook on the season.
Sure.
All right.
I don't know if you lose today, can you get to 6 wins in a row? It is a judgment, a very early judgment day on an entire body.
Well, the problem is you say you lose today. You're 1-2. You got 9 games left. You got to go 5-4.
Yeah.
And you got Ohio State in there, Wisconsin and Michigan State that are going to be very, very tough games.
At Iowa, you got to throw in. That's going to be a tough one.
Well, every game's going to be tough, to tell you the truth, except I won't say except anything.
Right.
But, you know, Indiana and Rutgers, but if you lose today, then you start thinking, well, who can you beat?
Right.
All right.
So you're in. We've been through this before. Maryland's lost some games that we thought they should have won, should have been more competitive in. And it seems to me that Maryland generally bounces back the next week, right? When you say it's all over.
Well, you said it on Wednesday night when you were on the TerpTalk. You're never as bad as you are.
I said it. All I did was quote you.
Right.
That's your
You're never are as bad as you look when you lose, and you're never as good as you look when you win. We're not as bad as we were in that fourth quarter last week. All right. It was a disaster. It was, and it all started with, you know, a couple plays that turned that game around. Unbelievably, Will Likely fumbling, and then the offsides on
it was a third down.
Fourth and goal. It was fourth and goal when we intercepted. And it just got worse and worse once the fulcrum went against us. Here's the bottom line. They got to come out strong. They have to, you know, South Florida is a tough team. I don't know what's the crowd supposed to be today.
They're estimating the 30 to 40 as usual. I think it's going to be on the low side of that. Oh, the weather's going to be nice. No rainstorm, no lightning delays today.
Yeah, here's my thoughts on this game, Ari. I think that I hope there's not a feeling of a burden on the entire team, which there probably is. But it's up to Caleb. Caleb's got to come out strong. And if he doesn't, I think the trigger will be quick to put Garmin in.
Mm-hmm.
And he's got to complete some passes downfield. I think they're going to probably open up with a pretty good scripted throwing series just to try and get him in sync, have some easy passes to the sidelines or maybe quick ones over the middle. He's going to try and utilize Tavon Jacobs, who's hit the starting lineup.
Yeah.
And
DJ Moore, who's now a starter.
Right. So, you know, I look at Tavon and Laverne and DJ. I said, well, you know, it's okay.
They're pretty good.
I can live with that. And Wes Brown. But we talked about it again. Perry Hills has gotten just destroyed. All right. I just saw Freddie on there.
Yeah, we got Freddie in waiting.
If Freddie's in waiting, okay.
Freddie in waiting.
He has been destroyed. All right, I know Freddie, you have some comments about this. But 5 drops, all right, he's not calling the plays, and he's not on the line blocking.
Yeah, but he still can't throw the ball downfield. And they're jamming the box. And when you try and run the ball with 9 guys in the box because there's no threat of a down the field throw.
But don't you count 5 drops as being a factor? Here's my point.
Well, my point.
It looks like they're not going to win with Perry Hills at quarterback.
True.
So you make the change. I agree. But what I'm worried about, if the drops continue, if the running game's not there, if the play calling, isn't imaginative, it's a recipe for disaster.
Well, speaking of some places we've had a bit of contention, you and I, as I'd said, the Bowling Green, even though they beat us, that play calling, that stuff is fun to watch. They're throwing the ball all over. They're running plays that reminded me of when Ralph was first here, that we had this great innovative offense. And so if it's not working, you say with Perry Hill's a good game manager, it's not working. Did Maryland actually put him into plays he could make?
I want to digress for a second.
Yeah.
We talk about you talked about Ralph. Is he still with Rutgers?
No. He had this 1 year there, and he's moved on.
Well, he got out of Dodge at the right time.
Oh, my.
That program is in deep trouble.
Their coach suspended for 3 games.
Faculty tampering, which is like.
Right. That might actually, that's a real problem. That's not just a football problem.
No, that's a real problem.
They have Penn State tonight. Is it a night game?
Yeah, it's at Penn State, though.
Right.
But 6 players arrested.
Right.
I mean, this is a program in turmoil right now.
Could be a bit in free fall at this point.
Yeah, it could be. I mean, it looks like there's going to be some changes made. All right, let's get back to what happens today. Are you confident in Caleb Rowe today?
51% confident today.
Well, he threw 3 passes, 2 picks.
He came in under duress. He didn't make great plays, but he hasn't been playing with the ones. I'm going to give him a break. So I'm not going to start on no. Yeah, I like the fact he can throw the ball downfield. Does he make some throws he might want to have back once in a while? Yes, he does. Do I think we're going to get to Dax Garman at some point? Yeah, I do.
Why not now? That's what I don't understand. If Caleb was number 3 on the depth chart, how do you go from 3 to 1?
Well, he went from 3 to 2.
Right.
So over from the last, when we saw them in the middle of August at the fall scrimmage, we were surprised that Perry Hills was there and that
Dax looked great that day.
He did.
I talked to Scott Green from Rivals, and is he from Rivals?
Well, it's Rivals.
Yeah, Rivals, right. Scott Green from Rivals, and he said to me, Bruce, you were there with me. You were at the practice. It's the one practice we really got to see, the scrimmage that everybody was at. He said, who did you think was the best? I said, it was Dax Garman by far.
Right. He hit that big ball to DJ Moore.
On the
wow,
run,
look at that.
Throw a bomb.
That was August 15th.
Well, look, we're going to see Dax Garman before the year's out, and I wouldn't be shocked if we see Perry again. All right. So, I mean, let's see what happens today. We need Wes Brown. It looks like they're going to feature Wes Brown a little bit more.
Yeah, but they didn't start him. So there was an interesting comment that Randy made at the press conference on Tuesday, which I didn't get on tape, which is that the quarterback situation with 3 guys to him looks a lot like the running back situation where any of the 3 could play. Now, you've been to these games and you've been to the scrimmage. Wes Brown comes in and seems to really get this team going. He's a powerful runner. He's hitting the holes. He's not dancing at the line. But Brandon Ross stays as the one, the guy that I thought brought a lot of spark at the end of the Richmond game, the speed back. Ty Johnson doesn't even get in the game last week. So between the quarterbacks and the running backs, I think we both agree that there's guys that haven't gotten much run yet that look great to us, but we're not coach of the team.
Listen, how about the defense? How about Sean Davis?
Sean Davis got picked on a bit.
A little bit.
He got targeted 14 times, Mason?
In the second half, it was, a bomb on Sean Davis, a bomb to Sean Davis's side. Okay. So, a bomb.
All right. So we have the Maryland version of like Deion Sanders on one side. You're going to throw at Likely or you're going to throw at Davis? Which guy are you going to throw the ball to?
You're going to throw at Davis, but I thought Davis was stronger than that. And where was his help? It was just a game, take the take, throw it away. It was a disaster to lose like that. And Bowling Green was a better team. Let's not take anything away from them.
Well, I think that's almost in Freddy territory. So how do you take a Big Ten team in the 5th year of an administration that seems to be picking up recruiting speed, and you look on the field and go, oh, my God, Bowling Green's better? That's the scary part.
Yeah, but that happens. I mean, the MAC teams are good. It's not like they're bad. This is a good team that's going to finish 10-2.
Am I on it?
Not yet. Just hang on 1 second, Freddie.
Freddie's ready. He's ready.
He's ready. Will Bruce finish up? Then we'll go to Freddie for a minute, and then we'll go to break.
Look, you have a team and a coach that really has not had a good quarterback. All right. And this is no offense to C.J. Brown. All right. C.J. Brown was a great running quarterback. He was more of a halfback.
Yeah.
He hasn't had the quarterback yet, and we're paying the price when we play some of these teams. That's the problem.
That is. Freddie, you ready? You got your props? You ready to go?
First, I'm working with Barry Levinson on a redo of The Man with Two Heads. I'm going to play the Rosie Greer part. Don't worry, here will be the other head. Let's talk first about Sean and the cornerback situation. He was getting picked on. Where is the defensive adjustments from the coaching staff?
I agree.
I mean, and Maryland wait a minute.
Make Maryland great again. Thank you, Mr. Trump, for that hat.
Obnoxious person. But anyway, constantly throughout Edsel's tenure at Maryland, the lack of adjustments in-game or halftime, out-coached most of the time. Talk about Perry Hills. Perry Hills, let's start with him, and then I'll talk about a little bit further about why he wasn't successful. Perry Hills doesn't read defenses well, doesn't go through his progressions well, gets rattled in the pocket and takes off. I think he threw 38% of his passes were underthrown, 15% were overthrown. Even the drops were caught. It puts his percentage about 57, 58%, which is below average in college football today. And plus the fact he's throwing mostly short passes, which makes him very below average. If you want to have a game manager, you need a really, really good team around him. In other words, you have to have a really good defense, a good offensive line that can run the ball, and the guy just goes in there and doesn't make mistakes, and they're not asking anything. Maryland doesn't have a good offensive line. They have a couple good running backs. They have a couple of nice receivers with no depth there. The defense got lit up for 691 yards last week. God forbid we play Tennessee today, which beat Bowling Green by 30 points. What would happen then?
All right. You made your point.
All right.
Here's the bottom line. All right. You can't judge a team or a season by one game. All right. And this is
the same type of game we played against Rutgers, and this is constant over the last 4 years plus 2 games.
Hey, you know what? Last year we were 7-6. The year before we were 7-6. You can't deny that the Terps did have a couple big wins this year, and I'm not going to go on the defensive until the games are played. And you're right. You can't judge, Freddie, but you can't judge. You can't judge the team on one game.
Are you judging the team?
Edsel's 21-31, which includes the first 3 games this year are cupcake games. These games were designed for 2 reasons: for Maryland to get off 3-0 on the start, and the visiting teams to get a paycheck. Now they play these games every year, so if you take away the cupcake games that Maryland has won the last 4,
you can't call.
Where are we now? 15-31.
Bowling Green is not a cupcake. That's the difference.
They're a mid-major team. They're a mid-major team that destroyed Maryland. 700 yards, 6 TD passes, and the strength of our team was supposed to be our defensive backfield.
Well, what is
what's the puppet have to say? Right. I want to know what the puppet has to say.
Let's have the dummy start talking. How about the other guy?
Here, he's got the pitchfork. We know what he's looking for. He wants some action, or he's going to go to work.
Get him a TerpTalk shirt, Freddie.
Hey, you are rocking the TerpTalk gear.
Wait, let's move on.
Well, let's move on to who we're playing.
You got the scouting report. Go ahead. Marlon Mack.
Marlon, yeah. What an alliterative name. We have Marlon Mack, the Mack Attack. He's the 2014 AAC Rookie of the Year. Mason, you know a little bit about him. This is a guy that's clearly rushing about 130 yards a game. The focal point is now a spread, no huddle offense.
Same thing as last week?
I think with more running feature as last week.
One thing they want to do this week, they want to get their offensive receivers involved more. They ran the ball pretty well. Taggart wants to get the ball downfield more. They had problems with the press defense with Florida State. The one thing that they're very deficient in so far this year, they're 5 for 25 on third down. So if Maryland can get them in third down situations, at the first 2 games they've had problems, but they have some really good athletic receivers. Their defense is very athletic, and they're pretty big, and they're very aggressive.
and they play an interesting formation. They're a 4-2-5 defense, 4 down linemen, 2 linebackers. They're playing an extra defensive back the whole time because they're about speed. Willie Taggart decided to change things up because in 2007, USF, I believe, was #1 in the nation for 1 week.
How did that happen? Who did they beat?
I don't remember who they beat.
Why would they have been #1?
They were undefeated. They were playing a decent schedule. That's the year Rutgers was, I believe, #1 for a week. So it was a weird end of that season. Since then, they fired the coach who started the program. They went with Skip Holtz as the head coach there.
I got to remind you, we're more than halfway through this show. You got to give credit to our sponsors here. So tell them about Meyer Construction.
Well, it's Meyer Consulting Engineers out of Rockville. If you're building a large parking structure, campus building, something big, something important, you have to check out Meyer Consulting Engineers in Rockville. Of course, the other game sponsor, TerpTalk Game Day sponsor, is Viener Consulting. If you have a small business and you need a top-line retail point-of-sale solution, if you're thinking about changing your credit card systems to comply with the new EMV standards, and you know what I'm talking about if you have a small business, Viener Consulting is the source for NCR, point-of-sale software, and EMV chip and PIN credit card solutions. You can get a hold of Viener Consulting at 301-251-2900. So, Freddie, I know USF is they call themselves South Florida. They're actually in Tampa. Do they get much press down where you are in the Boca area?
There's always a couple paragraphs in the paper every day about all the Florida teams, and the information I told you about the receivers was in the Fort Lauderdale papers. They got some press down here.
I know that they play up in the Tampa Bay Bucs Stadium. When I've seen them on TV, it's a half full situation. What do you see that South Florida has to do to actually start to fill up what used to be known as a sombrero down there or up there?
When?
It's very difficult. I mean, they don't have the tradition like a Florida State has. Even Miami down here, they do 20,000 people for the first game for Miami down here. It's tough. I mean, you have to really be a top 10 team probably to capture the imagination of the crowd. And they're playing in an NFL city, so they're competing against the NFL, which is very difficult.
Right. But they are, one thing about South Florida, and we have about 5 minutes left in the TerpTalk Game Day show, they are an Under Armour brethren. I have a picture here of the Mac Attack rocking his number 5 jersey in the green and white with a nice Under Armour logo on there. For today's game, since you didn't get into the first segment, what do you see as Maryland's ceiling points-wise against USF today?
Maryland, she scored in the low 20s, mid-20s today. Until Maryland can show me they can play well and be coached well, I have questions about them. I mean, South Florida played Florida State last week. I watched part of that game. They were very competitive for most of the game. They got worn down by Florida State. Florida State's a top 10 team. The final score, I think, was 20.
They didn't look like a top 10 team last night against Boston College, I'll tell you that much.
Well, I'd rather have their program than ours right now.
Well, football-wise, baby, but
I mean, you stop being so critical. Right now they're undefeated and we're not. And South Florida gave this team a pretty good game last week. Their offense wasn't much. Their defense was very good last week.
Did someone named Freddie just tell me to stop being so critical?
I think he did.
Okay.
But can we go back to the "Make Maryland Great Again" hat?
All right, wait a minute.
What?
2 things. Freddie, are we winners today? Yes or no?
No.
Wayne?
They've got to show me. It's like the old Missouri line. Show me. They got to show me they can play some ball and show me they can make adjustments during the game by the coaching staff.
Wayne, win or lose?
I'm going. It's a win. It's a narrow win. And one of my keys to today's game is I think you might get to see Derwin Gray and Damian Prince, the highly touted offensive lineman, finally get on the field. We need to get that Big Ten-sized beef out there.
Removing Will Likely from the numbers. Who is the star for Maryland today? I like that segment we have.
I'll go without Will Likely.
Yeah.
I think Wes Brown gets it going and takes the top running back spot today.
Freddie?
Well, if we're going to win today or play exceptionally well, I think it's going to be the freshman DJ Moore.
DJ Moore, I'll say it'll be Caleb Rowe, all right, because if he doesn't play well, we could be in trouble today.
Okay, Mason, you have a player of the game today?
I'm gonna go with Caleb Bro too.
Yeah, Caleb Rowe. If they're going to win, it's going to be in Caleb's hands. They're not going to get away with and I do believe they'll win like a 31-20-ish game. There's a game on TV tonight, though, I want to tell everybody about. BYU against UCLA.
Right.
All right, this is a game, Freddie, 10:30 tonight. You have Josh Rosen, who's being heralded as the next Aaron Rodgers, against Tanner Magnum, who is wannabe Josh Rosen. UCLA is a big favorite, but
Mason's all BYU on this one.
you like Tanner Magnum?
Yep. Hail Mary.
Hey, listen, this is going to be a great game tonight. All right, this is the keynote game of the day.
Well, I also like Mississippi State and Alabama. Want to see what the difference is
Is it
there.
Mississippi?
Where is that game tonight?
It's
Alabama.
Mississippi, though.
Is that Alabama?
I like Mississippi in that game. I tell you what, I like Georgia Tech to roll over Notre Dame tonight.
I'd like to see that.
Without my year, is it Zalik or
Malik Zaire.
Malik
Thank you,
Zaire?
Hey,
Yeah, your
come on
kid
up.
came in last week and threw a
Good
touchdown
enough.
pass with 12 seconds to go.
Freddie, we'll give you 45 seconds. We got to get off.
We need to bring Maryland back to greatness.
Thank you, Freddie. Mason, you have the Viener Consulting Maryland recruiting moment. What were the numbers last night for our heralded quarterback to be?
Dwayne Haskins gets 442 yards, 7 touchdowns through the air, and 1 running touchdown. But they lost in double overtime.
Oh, yeah, they lost.
And the other
They lost
down
last
note
week,
for
too.
Maryland, Adam McClain, the highly touted defensive lineman, has some NCAA problems. He's out of school as of yesterday. He has tweeted, and his hashtag is the movement. So he's a DMV to UMD guy, that he will be back in the spring.
Yeah, I saw that. You can't keep losing 4-star guys.
No,
It's brutal.
all right, we got about 20 seconds left. I will be on NBC in Hagerstown tonight on the Sports Connection. Catch Bruce, myself, and intern Mason on the post-game show. Coming up next on 1300 CBS Sports Radio in Baltimore is the Maven himself. What do you got for today?
Well, we got Freddie on segment number 2 to talk about a very questionable move that Buck made yesterday that was criticized by Jim Palmer, the intentional walk that cost the Orioles the game. And we got a whole litany of things to talk about on the Maven today, including the Ravens. This is a big weekend for the Ravens, too. A real big weekend. 0-2 teams do not fare well getting into the playoffs.
All
We've got
right.
lots to talk about. Get right to 1300, and we'll start that in a few minutes.
And if you're watching this on the internet, you can go to www.terptalk.com and click Listen Live, and you can hear the Sports Maven over the internet. This is Wayne Viener for Bruce Posner, intern Mason, and Freddie from Boca. Thanks for watching. Viener Consulting presents Terp Talk Game Day this Saturday. It's USF at noon on ESPNU.